Manx Radio Saturday Live Lounge, supported by Villa Gaiety. For the latest What's On information, visit villagaiety.com.
It's not till next year, but it is everything, and cold reactor. It has been slightly rubbish today, I have to say, cold and wet and windy. However, I had a lovely time up at Groudle Glen Railway earlier. As being a Santa's little helper, he needed some elves, and so myself and my pal were Jingle and Bell, and had little red ruddy cheeks, and I do still have red ruddy cheeks because the red ruddy won't go away. I should have said that the other way around. So my studio guests are probably looking at me thinking, what's wrong with her? I'm just jolly. I'm just getting into the jolly spirit. I have Joff, Whitten and Tibor Miklos with me. Faster Mine, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
It's lovely to have you. Are you feeling festive yet, either of you?
Just on the edge of it.
Yeah. What song makes you feel festive, Joff?
Oh, crikey. I don't know. I've got two girls, so anything that they kind of get into. So Rocking Around the Christmas Tree is a bit of a favourite as well.
Oh, Brenda Lee.
So, yeah.
Good tune.
That's a bit one. That's a good one for dancing around to.
Yeah. What about you, Tibor?
I think it's Driving Home for Christmas for me. That does it.
Yeah, Chris Rea. That's a fabulous one.
Yeah.
See, I've got a bit of a task on my hands because I've been told I have to try and play the best Christmas song of all time in the next 15 minutes.
I don't know if there is one.
I don't think there is either. I think it depends on who you are and what kind of mood you're in.
Exactly.
Quite frankly, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, I've chosen one. We'll see how it goes. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about, as described by you, Joff, a film and music thingy. Now, this is Kitterland.
Yes.
So I'm going to come to you first. Tell us, what is Kitterland? Where did it all start?
Well, it started between Tibor and I making music together. In actual fact, the long story is I came across Tibor playing some synthesizers at a Mindful Man event on the Isle of Man about 4 years ago. And after he played with some synthesizers, I played with some looping guitar things. And I thought, I want to be friends with him. So I went and just sort of said, I know some words. Do you know some words? And we gradually got talking, and then gradually started making music together. And I think there was just a shared, I use the word shared aesthetic. You know, we kind of started to making music in similar kind of ways, and started just jamming that kind of language, and then gradually developed into something that had a bit more bones on it and became much more of a project, and then kind of finding a name for it. We called ourselves Kitterland, and then realised it is kind of soundscapes that we create rather than songs, so kind of started working with film. So one of the early projects that we were doing was live scoring against films, live scoring against silent films, or even cool films, nerdy films, and from that, then decided to try to make something with a filmmaker colleague friend of ours who mostly works in TV, but he wanted to kind of do something a bit more kind of abstract, a bit more contemporary, and so it just kind of gradually evolved as a project. So that's a long-winded way of saying it. But Tibor, have you got any other kind of reflections? Is that about right from your perspective?
No, I'm just really touched by you saying that you want to be my friend, and look, here we are, and being friends, and I think it's really I think it's a really special thing to be able to get together with somebody else, and click, musically like that, or at least I'm not someone who's come across this. This doesn't happen very often. So yeah, it was a very special thing to then find out that, hey, look, we can do this together, and then just kind of develop from there.
It's interesting as well that Joff was saying that he saw you playing music at the Mindful Man event.
Right.
So is that because your music is kind of intrinsically linked with that sort of feeling and emotion, and like a kind of mindfulness meditative state?
Yes, that's. Thank you for asking that question, because that's very much that's kind of the beginning of that journey for me. And I've known Mike for a while, and so I just said to him, hey, Mike, why did I come up and just play some music for you at the event? And that's exactly what happened. And it's kind of more in this sort of ambient space, but there's definitely an element of like with new age music. I know it's kind of understood as a bit of a dirty word around here, but really it's got a revival, I think, happening. And I think there's a really nice thing about bringing and again, it's a very soundscape led thing. So this is not songs, this is more just sounds that you play, and you generate with your synthesizer. And that kind of affect you in certain ways, and evoke emotions. So I think that's.
And I'm intrigued as well because I've seen photos of you sort of making music. There's a lot of kit that you use, isn't there? I mean, there's a lot going on. Is that your fault, Joff?
Not just my fault. For a time, it was definitely buying new musical equipment project rather than kind of actually, making music.
Yeah.
And each time we would get together, a new piece of equipment would arrive at the same time. There is a version of that where we could possibly get too complicated because for now it's just the two of us making the music and Anthony's making the film aspects of it. We could get too many instruments in front of us. But for me, one of the early points was just the great joy of when we actually got everything syncing together. So the looping syncing together, the kind of the sequences syncing together, the drum machine syncing together, and it was just this kind of like, wow, it makes an amazing big noise. It was very, very exciting.
Oh, it sounds like such a satisfying project.
Lovely.
I'd have to ask then, what now that you're sort of more established with Kitterland, what comes first, the music or the film?
Ooh, that's a good question. Certainly this project that we are screening at the Erin Arts Centre on the 17th of December, it was the music first, and in fact filming of the music first, and then the images come after it. But next time around we might try an inversion of that one, make some images first and then create the music to the images. So what I quite like about that is there's a flexibility. It's not too structured as in our rules are. You've got to do A, B, and C. We've got various components that you can pull together. Because we had a great time. Zabriskie Point at Laxey Institute a year and a half ago thereabouts, where we rescored Zabriskie. And that's something else we want to kind of do some other versions of as well. Not specifically that film, but other films as well. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of fun. That kind of I can use the word iterative without sounding like an idiot, but an iterative project where you can just recompile it in different ways depending on what's coming up.
Oh, it sounds incredibly clever and really quite complicated. But but also, I'm delighted to say you've actually recorded something for us, so we can give a bit of a flavour. I think what we should do is say, obviously, this is intrinsically linked to imagery. So we're going to play you a little bit. First of all, tell us about the environment and how this was played and recorded.
Okay, this was recorded in the Sound Cafe from round about 7 o'clock through till sunset, which happened at 21 minutes past 9, hence the name of the film, which is 2121. And we set all our stuff up and then just started playing and recording in the moment and just improvising alongside each other as different ideas come through. So everything you'll hear is completely made up on the spot, from melody, words, instrumentation, loops, that side of things.
That's incredible.
And what else can I say about it? So we're looking outside of the gorgeous view of the Sound Cafe, which is just incredible. It's just a beautiful view. And it was totally coincidental, but on the night we had the most gorgeous sunset, and we didn't plan for that. It just happened to be what happened. It was really
overcast days when we arrived in the cafe, and we were like, great, I'm not going to see anything, just grey outside. and then there's a moment where I'm like pointing behind Joff, look over there. It's just amazing. This when the sun kind of breaks through the clouds, just setting.
So you get the rays coming as well.
And then you just get that sort of amazing
it sounds
light.
magical. Well, do you know what? That's what we should ask people to picture. So are we going to ask you to, while you listen to this, just close your eyes for a second, as long as you're not driving, and just picture the scene. Imagine yourself sitting, looking out at nature, at the sky, a big sky maybe, the idea of the clouds breaking through to let some sun through, and just have a listen to this beautiful piece of music recorded by Kitterland. Did you do it? Did you close your eyes? Did you imagine you were somewhere? Just sort of soak up that sound. That was Kitterland, and it's from a project that is actually a film project and a music project combined, kind of 50-50 by the sound of things. And the film itself, which is called 2021, is going to be screened a week tomorrow, so a week on Sunday at the Erin Arts Centre. And we've got 2/3 of the project with us. We've got Tibor and Joff with us. So tell us a little bit about the film itself then, Tibor. What is the film then, the film aspect of this?
I hate to speak for Anthony, who did the film, but really I think the film aspect is obviously there's a film that we recorded on site while we were doing making the music, and that has the gorgeous views that we were enjoying and that we were kind of inspired by recording the improvised performance. But then Anthony, he's then spent I think a year and also recording more footage using his drones and just some beautiful seascapes, aerial shots of what I think everything that makes the Isle of Man beautiful. Really, I think he captured it in its essence. And I think what we do is that the film kind of intercuts between us two playing in the Sign Cafe with the view behind us, and then the footage that Anthony's recorded.
So do you? I need to lift my microphone there. Do you two have any input then in the film aspect? Do you actually contribute at all to the film side of things?
Well, if we didn't sort of sit with Anthony when he was recording it, but we've kind of worked together and talked together around it, and we've worked on the edit together as well. So it doesn't follow quite a linear story of kind of from daylight to nighttime, but there's an element of that kind of going through it, and there are. With the music being improvised, but it still kind of goes through different movements, and we're kind of picking almost ideas that would complement those movements. So it is Anthony's film. There's no question it's Anthony's film. It's his hard work and his creativity and his gorgeous view of the island. But it's not a completely separate process. If that's
it's very much inspired by the music that you've created.
Exactly
I see. I'm not you guys, but it feels like it definitely feels like each part is necessary for and crucial for the other parts. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah, very much so.
I think if anything, once we started seeing the footage come in, we just wanted more of it. We're like, don't show us so much. I've seen enough of me going like that on the synthesizer. You kind of wanted to sort of let the island speak for itself and let the music be there as something that we created looking at it.
Well, it's such an exciting project, and it's not like anything else that's happening over here. And to be honest, it's not like anything else that happens very often anywhere, which is because it's quite a sort of it harks back to a different era, doesn't it? Really, this whole idea, and especially the sort of live soundtracking that you were doing previously as well. So, what will be next then after this project?
I tell you what I think about that. Sorry, just jump in there. I think what's interesting about this is that I think the Isle of Man presented back to an Isle of Man audience is lovely, and it's one thing. But I keep thinking that the further away you get from the island with this footage, I think the higher its value going to be. So what I would like to do is to show this film further afield. So we can actually, what I mean? Like,
yes.
I think for people, I think on the island it's exciting because you go like, oh, I recognize that plantation.
But you have a reference point.
But have a reference point,
yeah.
Exactly. But I think the further you get from the island with this project, I think the more interesting it's going to get for the people who are looking at it.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm excited about.
Something you touched on before, because there's also, it's not fast moving. This as a project, it's not fast moving music, and the change is slow, and that's kind of intentional as well, because not to do the connections to kind of mindfulness, but I was hoping to be kind of part of a project where you carve out half an hour, 40 minutes worth of something to spend some time gently reflecting on the world, or gently reflecting on views that you might know or might not know, but just kind of captures a bit of poetry in your head, and that was for me something that was quite important about this particular kind of working. We rush around all the time, don't we? We rush around and fill our lives with everything we can possibly cram into it. And I just wanted to do something that was a bit of peace,
Oh, I love that. Well, do you know what? I think that's what we can expect from next week. I think that's going to be a lovely little time, a time to just sit and immerse yourself in creativity and in the island, sort of having it projected in front of you in from a perspective you probably haven't seen it before. So it's a beautiful idea. So Kitterland and the film 2121, is that how you
yes,
is that the right way to say it? Okay. 2121 will be on next weekend at the Erin Arts Centre, a week tomorrow, so Sunday the 17th of December. How do we get tickets for this?
I'm going to get this wrong. They're available on the Erin Arts Centre website, and of course it will be sold out on the night, so you have to buy them beforehand.
Yes, get them in advance. Do you know what? Because there's not that many people can fit in there,
That's
so
a good point,
it is
actually.
definitely
so
worth.
I joked there, but yeah, I think it was worth booking, definitely.
Yeah, I think so too. Joff and Tibor, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
and
you so
hey,
much for having
have
us.
a lovely Christmas,
And you
both
too.
of you.
Manx Radio Saturday Live Lounge, supported by Villa Gaiety. For the latest What's on information, visit villagaiety.com.